Chapter 13 defines software engineering as the process of producing software applications involving not just the source code of the program, but also associated documentation, including things like UML diagrams, screen prototypes, reports, software requirements, future development issues, and the data that's needed to make the program operate properly. All of this is software engineering, which is very, very different from computer programming. Programming is just one very small part of an overall software engineering. Think of it as a contractor on a house versus the landscaper or the plumber, the electrician, or the mud intake for the sheetrock. The contractor is responsible for the entire project from start to finish. The software engineer is also going to design the product, the software, from start to finish. I've talked to you before about building your dream house. If you're going to build your dream house, you don't just pull your pickup truck into the contractor's stall at Home Depot and load in a whole bunch of 2x4s and some nails and a hammer and then drive around the city looking for an empty lot and then drag out all the wood and start hammering away with your hammer. You should have some kind of a plan in mind. As a matter of fact, first you're going to find the land that you want, and then you're going to hire someone to survey the land, and then you and your beloved are going to pour through dozens of home designs until you either find the one that you agree on, or you hire an architect to draw up the plans for the one that you would like to have, right down to the positioning of the light fixtures. And then you're going to apply for building permits, and then you're going to apply for financing at the bank, and well, you're going to do all of this before you even moved a single shovelful of dirt. And the same thing can be said of a software program. There is a design process that needs to take place before you sit down at a keyboard and start hacking out some code. So that's what we're going to learn in this chapter. We're going to learn about that process of designing a software program. We're going to create what is called a software design document. Just like your architect creates the blueprints of your house, we're going to consider our software design document, or our SDD, to be the blueprint of the software program that you would eventually build or create. Creating a software design document is a 7-step process. And the first thing that we need to do is decide on some software that we would like to build. So you've been put into groups with some other class members, and together as a group you're going to decide on a software project that you would like to design. Now don't worry, we're not actually going to create the software, we're just going to design it. We won't actually implement it. Once your group has decided on some software, the next thing that we're going to do is interview the client to get a better understanding of what the client is currently doing and what the client would like the software to do. So we're going to pretend that we are a software development team, and then a client has walked through the door asking us to build the software that your group has decided to design. We're going to move through the 7 steps of the software design document, implementing each one. So in order to interview the client, we do need one member of your group to be the client, and so we will assign a client. The rest of you are developers. As you are interviewing the client, you are more than welcome to help the client come up with some answers or make up some answers if they ever get stuck, but ultimately the client is always right. And so if there's a disagreement or a discussion that's going on within the group that has to do with client requirements, the client has the final say in it. So the first step in the software design document is to interview the client and put together a summary or a description of the software program that you are designing. There'll be 3 sections to this initial step in the software design document. The first one is the objectives. And I want you to write down several paragraphs just describing what the software is, the purposes and the goals. We've had the chance to experience purposes and goals before in Chapter 11 when we were doing user-centric hardware. This time we were designing a toy. So I want your group to come up with several paragraphs that just describe the software and the purpose and the function of it. The next section that you're going to do is called the specifications. And this is going to be 3 to 5 paragraphs just describing it. What does it do? How is it supposed to do it? Where is it going to function? What needs is it supposed to be meeting? And how is it supposed to do it? And then the last section are the requirements. And this is a bulleted list of 6 to 8 features, functionalities, things that the software can do. Short and sweet bulleted list of 6 to 8 features. Imagine if you were to go into Best Buy to buy some software and you pick up a box and you look at the front of the box and it has a bright and shiny paragraph convincing you why you need the software and extolling the virtues of the cool and amazing software. Then you flip the box over and on the back you see a bulleted list of it does this and this and this and this. And so that is what your group is going to do. During this first step in the process, you're also going to come up with a name for your development team and a name for the software product. So these are the questions that you can ask the client as you work towards creating the initial portion of this software design document. This is some questions that you can ask the client to find out what they're currently using. I mean, are they using software, or how are they accomplishing the goal currently? Are they using an abacus, or are they using a piece of paper and a pencil, or do they have a spreadsheet? Or it's important that you understand what the client is doing now. They have walked through your door asking you to develop some software for them, which means they have a need. What are they currently doing to meet that need, if they're meeting it at all? So I put at the bottom of the screen those same 3 categories that you're supposed to fill out as a group once you've had a chance to interview the client and get a much better understanding of the software that they would like you to design, what it's supposed to do, and its functionality.